Hello, my friend. Have you ever stood in front of someone and felt your mind suddenly become empty? Have you ever wanted to say something simple, but your heart started beating so fast that you stayed silent? Many English learners feel this way. Even native speakers feel this way. Starting a conversation can feel like standing at the edge of a swimming pool, afraid to jump into the water. You want to join, you want to speak, but fear holds you back. Today, we will learn English through a story about confidence, small steps, and the power of simple questions. This story will show you that starting a conversation is not about being perfect. It is about being human. Imagine you are in a new city. You do not know anyone. The streets are busy. People are walking quickly. Everyone seems confident and comfortable. But you feel invisible. You tell yourself, I will speak when the time is right. Yet the right time never seems to come. You wait for someone else to begin. You wait for a perfect sentence. You wait until you feel ready. But what if confidence does not come before action? What if confidence comes after you speak? Stay with this story, because you may discover that one small question can change your life. Michael Carter was 24 years old when he moved from Ohio to Chicago for his first professional job. He had studied marketing at university and had worked very hard to earn this opportunity. On paper, he was qualified and capable. But inside, he was nervous and unsure of himself. Chicago was loud and energetic. The tall buildings touched the sky, and the trains moved quickly above the streets. Michael felt small in this big city. On his first morning at work, he arrived early. He wore a clean blue shirt and carried a new notebook. The office building was modern, with large glass windows and bright lights. Employees walked in confidently, greeting each other with friendly voices. Michael smiled politely at the receptionist and found his desk. He sat down quietly and turned on his computer. Around him, co-workers were already talking about projects and weekend plans. Their voices sounded relaxed and natural. Michael wanted to join them, but he did not know how to enter their conversation. At lunch, the team gathered in the break room. The smell of coffee filled the air. People laughed about a football game and discussed a popular television series. Michael carried his sandwich and sat alone at a small table near the window. He listened carefully. He even had an opinion about the football game, but he felt afraid to interrupt. His mind was full of questions. What if they think I am boring? What if my voice shakes? What if I say something wrong? So he stayed silent. That evening, Michael called his father. He explained how difficult it felt to speak to new people. His father listened patiently and then said something simple. Son, you don't need to impress people. You only need to show interest. Ask questions. People enjoy talking about their experiences. Michael thought about those words before going to sleep. The next day, a small opportunity appeared. A co-worker named Sarah sat near him during lunch. She accidentally dropped her spoon. Michael quickly picked it up and handed it back to her. She smiled and thanked him. In that moment, he felt nervous again, but he remembered his father's advice. He took a slow breath and asked, Are you from Chicago? The question was simple and clear. Sarah's face brightened. She said she had lived in Chicago her entire life and loved the city's energy. Then she asked Michael where he was from. He told her about Ohio, about the quiet neighborhoods and open fields. Soon they were comparing their hometowns. The conversation felt natural. Michael realized something important. He did not need to speak perfectly. He only needed to begin. After that day, Michael created a small challenge for himself. Every day he would start one conversation. It could be short. It could be simple. But he would speak first at least once. On Monday, he asked a co-worker how his weekend was. On Tuesday, he complimented someone's coffee mug and asked where it was purchased. On Wednesday, he asked for advice about public transportation in the city. Each time, the other person responded kindly. Some conversations lasted only 2 minutes. Others continued longer, but every time, Michael felt a little stronger. He also learned the importance of listening. When someone spoke, he focused fully on their words. He nodded, smiled, and asked follow-up questions like, "How did you get interested in that?" or "What happened next?" He discovered that people appreciate good listeners. Listening made conversations deeper and more meaningful. Of course, not every experience was positive. One afternoon, he tried to speak with a senior manager in the elevator. He asked how her day was going. She answered briefly and looked at her phone. The elevator doors opened, and she walked away quickly. Michael felt embarrassed. For a moment, he wanted to stop trying, but later he reminded himself that not everyone will respond warmly. Sometimes people are busy. Sometimes they are stressed. Their reaction does not define his worth. Weeks turned into months. Michael's co-workers began to see him as friendly and approachable. He was invited to join group lunches. He participated in meetings and shared creative ideas. His manager noticed his growth and praised his communication skills. The shy young man who once sat alone by the window was slowly becoming confident. One evening, the company hosted a networking event with clients and partners. The room was full of unfamiliar faces. Music played softly in the background. At first, Michael felt his old fear return, but then he remembered how far he had come. He walked up to a small group and introduced himself. He asked what industries they worked in and what projects excited them most. As they spoke, he listened carefully and shared his own experiences. The conversation flowed smoothly. By the end of the evening, he had exchanged contact information with several professionals. Later, Michael reflected on his journey. He realized that starting conversations had changed more than his social life. It had changed how he saw himself. He no longer viewed himself as shy and invisible. He saw himself as capable and growing. Confidence, he understood, is built through action. One day, a new employee named Emily joined the company. She looked nervous and uncertain, just like Michael once had. During lunch, she sat alone. Michael walked over with a friendly smile. He introduced himself and asked if it was her first week. Her shoulders relaxed as she began to talk. In that moment, Michael understood the true power of conversation. By speaking first, he had helped someone else feel welcome. From his experience, Michael developed simple advice for anyone who struggles to start conversations. First, begin with a question. Simple questions like, "Where are you from?" or "What do you enjoy doing in your free time?" can open many doors. Second, listen carefully and show genuine interest. Third, accept that not every conversation will be perfect, and that is normal. Finally, practice daily, even in small ways, because practice builds confidence. As Michael looked out at the city lights one night, he felt grateful. Chicago no longer felt overwhelming. It felt full of opportunities for connection. He understood that relationships, friendships, and professional growth all begin with a few simple words. So, my friend, what about you? Is there someone you want to speak to? Is there a moment you have been waiting for? Remember that you do not need perfect grammar. You do not need impressive vocabulary. You only need courage for a few seconds. Take a deep breath. Smile. Ask a simple question. That small step could lead to a meaningful conversation, a new friendship, or a new opportunity. Confidence does not come before you speak. It comes after you try.